us. So furnish us with more detail.
Indeed. I think the two companies at the center of this testimony will essentially be Nkonki and PriceWaterhouseCoopers, and this is based on some of the submissions that were made earlier today by Advocate Kate Hofmeyer before the judge. And she essentially explained that these two companies were appointed as auditors and they performed auditor duties at the company for about 5 years. And she is essentially investigating, or the commission is investigating, whether proper procurement processes were followed in their appointment, but they're also investigating an alleged payment that was paid into a Kwinana company that is linked to Yake Kwinana, a name that is not coming up for the first time before this commission. We've heard this name coming up during a witness who came in and spoke about how this particular board, at the time she was the SAA Technicals board chairperson, approached her and asked for a kickback, basically asking this potential bidder to give them some form of a thank you fee or a bribe of sorts for actually awarding what was supposed to be a components tender contract or tender at the time. But yes, right now we are listening to the evidence of this particular gentleman who is from the Auditor General of South Africa.
Right. And then what else can we expect from the commission today?
So we have this particular gentleman from the Office of the Auditor General speaking to us about the policies and procedures that are followed with regards to appointing an external auditor. He's essentially told the commission that all SOEs are essentially supposed to be audited by the Auditor General. And in the event that that doesn't happen, or in the event that the Auditor General of South Africa opts not to audit the auditees' results or anything of that kind, they then decide to give them the opportunity to advertise for that. And essentially, he's also explained that, the Auditor General is always involved in the process. Let's just take a listen to what he had to say.
How does somebody see that this is a reportable irregularity?
Chair, for it to be a reportable irregularity, there should be non-compliance, or there should be fraud, or there should be theft. And also this should have resulted in a material financial loss.
So PriceWaterhouseCoopers are also going to be giving testimony?
We at this stage, we're not sure if they are going to be giving testimony, but we are expecting testimony to center around that contract. So essentially what we have Sokombela actually speaking about is what they would then find, the difference in terms of how, the Auditor General, the Office of the Auditor General of South Africa would audit SOEs, and an external private entity would audit the financials of an SOE. And he's essentially saying that they would look into whether processes were followed, processes that are actually stipulated in the PFMA. And essentially, they need to then, that's how they would then determine whether expenditures, or if there's been anything such as irregular expenditure, wasteful expenditure, and fruitless expenditure. And in the clip over there, he was just explaining that essentially those are the things that they would determine. They needed to see that the people who were trusted with the governance of a company, such as the people in managerial positions, were in fact following procedures and did in fact follow all the prescriptions of the PFMA.
And there's another clip that we have to listen to.
Yes, there is indeed another clip that we have to listen to. And this is essentially speaking to the processes in terms of, we understand that the Auditor General of South Africa has to be involved when, in the event that an SOE opts for an external auditor, such as what happened at SAA when they did in fact appoint Nkonki and PwC. And he's essentially saying that the contract was advertised for 1 year and it was later extended for 5 years. And what we're essentially listening out for is whether there are any irregularities with that, arrangement between SAA as well as PriceWaterhouseCoopers and Nkonki. But here's a clip of him just explaining what exactly the procedure entails.
The most important thing is that they need to take note of the content of the Public Audit Act and must adhere to the requirements that are in, for example, the appointment of auditors in terms of Section 25 of the Public Audit Act, that appointment must be in accordance with that requirements, Chairperson, and also the discharge of the auditors also must comply with the process that is prescribed in Section 26 of the Public Audit Act.
Just briefly, what can we expect going forward? How long is this gentleman going to be giving testimony?
Okay, so we can expect this leg of testimony with regards to, aviation related evidence to continue for the next 2 days. We understand that we're just going to be looking at the role of auditors at SOEs and in particular SAA. We understand that Nkonki and PriceWaterhouseCoopers essentially gave, over the 5 years where they were auditing their books, they gave them clean audits. And it seems as though as soon as the Auditor General came in and started auditing those books, that was not the case. And we are basically expecting to hear more evidence around that. While at this stage, these allegations have not been confirmed. However, we do wait to get more evidence relating to to answer these questions around how SAA managed to get clean audits for a period of 5 years and not get a clean audit when the Auditor General took over.
Thanks very much for that update, my colleague there, Mbalenhele Mthethwa.